I'm Logan Fromme with the Backwoodsman Institute. Today I'm going to be showing you the modification I made to my PSE Kingfisher recurve, takedown recurve. And I'm pretty happy with it, how it came out. And this is a carp getting machine, I'll tell you what. But I got some footage of it in action. I'll show you later on in this video. But right now I'm going to go over what I did to this recurve. Alright guys, what I got here, I got an AMS Retriever Pro reel, bowfishing reel on this recurve. I also got a Surefire attached to where the stabilizer would go on a compound or a bow or whatever, where you can put a reel in on this recurve. The reel that actually came with it was a Cajun reel, and it's just the one that you wind up the string and it attaches right here into this the hole right there, screws in. But I just put a bolt through here, got a piece of aluminum, bent it, and I measured it fit. I'll go over all this in more detail. Alright guys, the AMS Retriever Pro, I bought the kit, alright, and it came with the arrow rest, and that's real simple. With this PSE Kingfisher bow, it has a hole already drilled in it and threaded to fit this rest in here. All you do is tighten it down with an Allen wrench, hex key, whatever. I got a hole set right here. Tighten it down, and you got to tighten this little screw right here, and you line it up to wherever the arrow is fitting square. If you got an arrow square or whatever, you can eyeball it, but if you got an arrow square, it's a lot better. And how I did. Alright, now I'm going to go over mounting the AMS Retriever Pro, and you can mount it on a compound or a recurve. I like shooting a recurve because it's a lot more fast, a lot more instinctive, and you can put the shots on there right away. These two screw holes right here is what the AMS Retriever Pro mounts to. Comes with this mounting bracket and screws, same thing, Allen wrench, hex head, whatever you want to call it. Now on a compound, you can keep your sights on there, alright, because it comes with long screws, and I use these short screws from the compound that I had, the regular sights, but you can mount it over top of your sights. The one thing I've realized with that is with this reel, it's got a trigger. It comes out loose, and you got to use a trigger to reel into slack. Alright, so whenever I mounted it over my sights on my compound, the trigger was too far to reach with my index finger or whatever. It was pretty awkward. It wasn't natural reeling it in. So either if you got the regular plastic compound sides that are real thick, you might want to, either take the sights off and try to use instinctive shooting with a compound, or there's real thin old school metal sights that I put on there on my compound, and that's what I had to use to bring that trigger close to me. Alright, anyway, how to mount this. This sliding piece, you'll see it adjusts the reel forward or back, whatever you want, but all you do is you line it up, put your screws in, and tighten them down. Alright, after you get your two mounting screws screwed in tight and that mounting bracket on, this piece right here with this wing nut screws into this sliding piece. And you can adjust it forward or back and tighten it the rest of the way down. Alright, now we got it all tightened down, and I like mine more to the back so it's more natural hitting this trigger to reel it in. Now when you first buy this thing, the handle, it's packaged, the handle is turned around. All you do is take a flathead screwdriver, unscrew it, turn the handle around, and tighten it back down, and then it'll reel. Right now it's free spinning until I press that trigger, and that'll retrieve my arrow and reel, either that or reel in the fish. Alright, let's talk about the fish arrows we got. I got muzzy heads on my fiberglass fish arrow. I got an AMS safety slide tied to my bow fishing line. And then with the AMS safety slide, you got to have this end piece, just a Phillips head screw, and a plastic piece that keeps the slide from coming out the backside over the knock. Alright, and whenever you knock this arrow, you want to make sure this safety slide is in front of the rest. Otherwise, if it gets behind it, and you want to make sure your line's free, because if it gets behind it, then it'll wrap and cause the arrow to bounce back at you, which is dangerous, or it snaps your line and you lost an arrow, unless you can get in there and find it. Now with the Retriever Pro, it comes with this long plastic piece. It's kind of like foam. It comes with it, and what this is a safety mechanism, so a line doesn't get behind the trigger or wrapped around something on your bow. I attached it to my Surefire light right here so it doesn't get caught on these locking nuts. All I did was zip tie it to the mount and zip tie it to the Surefire itself. And this zip tie is kind of a dummy cord for the light to the mount, so it kind of has a dual purpose right there. But this is a safety mechanism put on the Retriever Pro. All right, let's talk a little about the Surefire put on here. Carp feed mostly at night, and a lot of the bow fishers, they have lights rigged up to their boats so they can see the carp in the water at night, and they, that's when the majority of the bow fishing is done. You can do it in daylight just as good. And probably about half an hour before nightfall, you can't see into the water no more. And with this thing, I could still see in the water, burn through the top layer of water, and I could see pretty much all the way down to the bottom in the shallows. So this was a good add-on that I put to this PSE Kingfisher. What I got is an aluminum piece right here attached into where a stabilizer will go on a normal bow, and I just bolted it in. But you can get a screw, you can screw it in too. But I just bolted it in, put nuts on the backside, and this angle iron piece, this Surefire weapon light is meant to go on a Picatinny rail system or a Weaver mount on the rail like that. So what I did was I measured the Picatinny rail system, which is 3/4 of an inch. I got a 3/4 of an inch piece of metal right here. Now I had to put a shim on this backside. I had to put 2 layers right here so it would clamp down onto it, and that's what I did. Tightened them down, and then there's screw mounts into the actual mount of the Surefire as well. And what I did, I found a screw that fit. I tightened it down in there just for an added safety, so it ain't gonna fall off and shake loose, whatever. Then another one I did, I drilled a hole through this rail mount and put a zip tie from the Surefire through the mount, and make sure it ain't gonna go nowhere. All right, with this Surefire, I'm not telling you guys to go out and buy one or whatever, but it is a good addition to a carp fisher, bow fisher's arsenal, I guess you would say, because this thing's waterproof. The only thing it runs off of, we've always called them 123 batteries. They're real short, fat lithium batteries, and it puts out a heck of a beam. And I'm gonna turn the lights out and show you guys what I mean, and it gets pretty bright. All right there is what it looks like, and it goes right in the water, cuts right through that top layer where you can see, and it's right where I'm aiming. I had to bend it up a little bit, so whenever I pull back, I'm looking right where that beam of light is hitting. So it's a pretty good addition. You don't have to go buy a Surefire light. Maybe you can find something else a lot cheaper. These are pretty expensive, but this works pretty dang good. Alright, here's some video clips of me and my dad bow fishing up at Patoka Reservoir. The water's still high, and we've been going since I've been back pretty much every day after I got done with the farm. He got done with work, and they were in the shallows, but they weren't spawning until yesterday. Alright, today's Sunday. Yesterday morning, Saturday morning, the spawn was in full swing, and they were going crazy. Got a bunch of footage. You guys are going to like it, and you finally get to see this in action. So, hope you guys learned a lot about this video. I love doing this stuff, and I'll catch you in a bit. Didn't even warn me. Come off?
Yeah.
Where you at? Fish on.